What's up, everybody? It's your boys here at Command This. We're going to ground and pound you today. Top five running backs coming up next.
Stay tuned. Hey, what's going on, everybody? Thank you for joining us for another episode. We are back with another top five. Tonight, we are doing top five 2022 NFL running backs. We already hit you with the quarterbacks. Consensus, Patrick Mahomes, no question. Everyone else below, hey, that's subject to interpretation. We're going to do the same thing today with running backs. This was going to be a little different. I think everyone has some opinions of running backs. Running backs in general have been devalued over the years. You've been getting a lot more bang for your buck in the later rounds. It's not to say there's not a lot of good first round running backs out there, but I don't know, fellas. Running backs, tough list to make, right?
It was the honorable mentions were very close to making the list in many cases for me.
Yeah,
I was. I'll be honest with you. I was playing around with the same 8 or 9 names.
Yeah, hard to rack and stack those in general. But without further ado,
almost.
So we got myself, Steve, we got Devin, we got Phil. We're going to give you our top fives. So previously on the NFL top five quarterbacks, Dev went first. So Phil, we'll let you start this off. Who do you have kicking off your top five, coming in at number 5 for running backs?
My number 5 running back.
Time out. Before we do that, let's talk about how many similarities we're going to have on this list. Now, this one's going to be hard. Dev says we're going to have 3.
Yeah.
Phil, how many do you think we're going to have?
4.
I'm saying 2. I'm going to be different. I'm going to be different just because I don't want to have the same answer. Sorry, Phil. I'm sorry to interrupt you. Go back to your number 5. Who's coming at number 5 on your list?
Coming at number 5 is the man who takes all the pressure off of our former QB1. It's going to be Dalvin Cook
of the Minnesota
Vikings.
Yeah, great running back, man. He can do it all. Would love to have him in Burgundy and Gold. I tell you what, coming out of where he went to Florida State,
yeah.
Didn't he? And he had some discipline issues. Was it a domestic or something on the way out or something like that?
If I remember it's Florida State, so I mean, very possible.
Yeah, and then he had an injury, right?
He had an injury
every year. He has an injury every year.
Injuries.
Yeah,
he's had injuries as a pro too, but when he's on the field, he dominates attention.
And Minnesota does a good job with complementing him with spell running backs like Jerick McKinnon and those role players that just fill a spot. They do a great job in doing that. But
Latavius Murray, all those guys.
Yeah, good pull for number 5. Okay, so we'll just go right to left for me. I'll start off my number 5 with Alvin Kamara. Probably, I thought he might be a little higher on other people's lists, but he's coming at number 5 for me. I don't know if he's quite as effective with Drew Brees gone. Time will tell. It's going to be him and Winston this year. He was a workhorse last year with no Michael Thomas on the Saints. I still like Alvin Kamara. He seems to be doing both running and catching out of the backfield, so remains to be seen. Dev, who you got at number 5?
Alvin Kamara.
All right, there we go. Off the jump out of number 5, first one. Okay, I like where your head is.
I really want to see Matt Stafford on this list too, you know.
If you haven't done so, go back, listen to the top 5 NFL quarterbacks of 2022. There was a lot of discussion about Matthew Stafford in that list and where you think he should be. But okay, Dev, we'll kick it right back to you, snake style. Bring us in at number 4.
I have Cooks, so that's 2, I guess. But I have Cooks as my 4 for the same reasons you said before, man. When he's right, he's right.
Yeah, so very true. And you know what? I don't know where he was picked at draft wise. I cannot remember. I have to go back and look. But
believe he was a second rounder, if I'm
Yeah.
not mistaken.
And
He
where
may
did
have been
Alvin
first.
Kamara go to school? Don't know.
That one I don't know.
That's a tough one.
Let's look
That's
it
a
up.
tough one. You know what, Phil? I'll look it up while you're going. But you're
Oh no, I got it right here.
You got it? Where did he go?
Alabama, and then he went to Tennessee.
Okay, I was going to say Alvin Kamara. I do not remember him as a Bama back, but
he transferred.
Okay, he doesn't fit that prototypical big bruiser Bama back guy like we've seen in the past. So, but that makes sense. Okay, Phil, who you got for number 4?
Number 4, I've got the man who's going to carry the mistakes by the lake. It's going to be Nick Chubb.
Nick Chubb. I love Nick Chubb. Great running back.
Absolutely. Dude does it all. Whether he's got someone to spell him like Cook does, or when he's asked to carry the load by himself, he always seems to step up to the plate. So, yeah, Nick Chubb.
Yeah, great running back. I think he was was he a Georgia guy?
Nick Chubb was a Georgia guy, if I'm not mistaken myself. I will double check that, though, while you pull up your number 4.
Yeah. My number 4, I'm going with Dalvin Cook. So far, Dev and I are lock, stock, exactly the same ones. So
you are correct, by the way. Nick Chubb is a Georgia back.
Yeah, and he's still a Cleveland guy. He's still Cleveland.
Still Cleveland.
He was helped out Baker Mayfield tremendously, and who knows what's going to happen with Deshaun Watson. I know he just settled 20 of the 24 cases, so he might be in the NFL come week 1, come September. I think he's all in for week 1.
Put it this way. Here's an interesting stat about Chubb. If he gotten 4 more yards his rookie season, he would have had 4 straight seasons of over 1,000 yards rushing to begin his career.
That's crazy. He's so good. He's a really good running back. I really like him. He's small. He's shifty. But then they also brought in the guy from Kansas City, Kareem Hunt. He had the domestic.
Chubb is deceptive in his size because he's almost 230 pounds.
Yeah, he's just short.
He's short. He's compact. And I kind of like my running backs like that. I like him around that 5'11", 6 foot, 225, 230. That kind of range because they're strong enough to break tackles. They got that lower center of gravity, but they're not. They're still shifty enough to move around and hide behind the lineman.
Yep. Hey, shields up. 2023. Let's go. Beer snake. Yeah, Nick Chubb's great. I like him a lot. So that was you, Phil. That was me. My number. Kicking it back snake style. Going on number 3. I'm gonna say Derrick Henry. Derrick Henry coming in my number 3 spot. Big bruiser from Alabama, right? He's an Alabama boy. Just, what words need to be said about Derrick Henry? Carries a load for Tannehill, just runs through people. He's been generally healthy the last 2 years. Now, I don't know how long he's going to last because he has a lot of miles. They just feed him.
I got 4 words you can say for Derrick Henry. He should be higher. That's what it should be.
Yeah, that's fair. Phil.
My number 3 is going to be last year's leading rusher, Jonathan Taylor.
Jonathan Taylor, good pull.
And to save you some time, he is also my number 3.
Jonathan Taylor is your number 3?
Also, yes.
Yeah, he definitely kind of came out of nowhere to lead the league in rushing. I didn't think that he was going to be that guy. Even he was a 1,000-yard rusher in 2020 for Indy and went for over 1,800 in 2021. Not as good a receiver as some of the other backs on this list, but he can catch the pass when necessary. I just think that he did get some of the benefit of other guys being injured this past season. I think there were a couple of backs who have definitely challenged him coming at time. But then again, scored 20 touchdowns last season as well. So
yeah,
he's definitely an excellent back for sure.
He's really going up against the guy from Denver. Hines. Naheem Hines, he's okay. And then the other, not Denver. No, was he a Denver guy? No, Philip Lindsay. Philip Lindsay was a Denver guy. So that's who's on the team. And Naheem Hines, I think, is a pure Indy guy who's also challenging him for a starting spot as well. But
there's no challenge for him.
Right,
Dude averaged 5.5 yards a carry last year on 332 attempts. That's
Carson
insane.
Wentz, good friend of Carson Wentz. Okay, Dev, give us your number 2.
Number 2, I'm going to go CMC, man.
Ooh.
People forget how good this guy is. He was the MVP of the year. He probably is the best Swiss Army knife running back in the NFL, alongside Kamara, obviously. But I think Christian McCaffrey is a better runner. So, and he's like the best guy, I guess, end zone running back in the league. So I'm going with Christian McCaffrey, bro.
Yeah, he just got to stay healthy, man.
Right.
That's all he has to do. Okay, Phil, who you got for number 2?
My number 2 is going to be the guy who I think is going to be the next one to challenge number 1's spot on the throne. Najee Harris from Pittsburgh.
Ooh, good one.
Just pure hard runner. He is going to make everybody's life a little bit easier in Steeler land. It's been a rough go over the past couple of years. Last year's of Ben Roethlisberger, but he helped them big time last year stay afloat and contend, and I think he's going to continue to do that. He is going to be the guy they're going to lean on for the next several years as they kind of rebuild and retool up there in Pittsburgh.
Yep. Now let's go back. Does anyone know where Jonathan Taylor went to college? I don't.
Stanford? Am I tripping? Is it Stanford?
Christian McCaffrey is a Stafford guy.
Go up
along
north.
with who else, Phil? Who else went to Stafford?
God, Love.
Bryce Love.
I heard a. Did you guys listen to? Somebody had Jay Gruden on. I think it was Ben Standing. Had Jay Gruden on, and he talked all about like a bunch of players that he talked about that draft where he didn't. I take it that he didn't want Bryce Love because of the injury concern, and they were going to go else to get another receiver, and they didn't do it. He said he was just talking about how he wanted to have on that second contract he should have asked for, control of the roster and the draft, and he said that's the biggest regret because he ended up not even being able to hire the people that coached with him.
Yeah.
So he didn't get to pick the draft.
So was that a Bruce Allen pick or a Scott McLuhan pick?
I think it was a Scott McLuhan.
Scott McLuhan was already gone by that time. That was a Bruce Allen pick.
Okay.
So he talked about Sua Cravens, and also there's one that.
So Sua was a Scott pick. We know that.
There was another one that I can't think of who it was, man.
Josh Doxson.
It was Reed. That like he thought. Jay was talking about he thought that Reed was soft and he couldn't play tight end, and he said McLuhan was a guy who kind of really wanted that guy.
Well, yeah, but he could play tight end when he was healthy. Problem is that he just was injury prone.
Well, he was a quarterback in college, though. So.
Yeah, so was Logan Thomas.
But right. if Jordan didn't have those concussion concerns, I think he would still be playing. I think the concussions is what really did him in. You can't mess around with that stuff. But okay, Phil. Put Najee Harris at number 2. For my number 2, I'm going Nick Chubb. I think I put him a little bit high, but
I struggle between him and Dalvin Cook.
Yeah,
I struggle.
Nick Chubb, I believe, has been healthy.
Yeah,
for his career in Cleveland. And
what's his backup's name that played at Kansas City?
Kareem Hunt.
I think the only problem I have with Chubb is I think Kareem Hunt's probably better. I feel like Kareem Hunt's still better than that guy. He was at Kansas City.
Yeah. So remember he had that domestic violence charge and they got rid of him. Cleveland picked him up. But think about that 1-2 punch though, man.
Yeah.
Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt. I
still think Hunt, who I think was like the leading NFL in rushing or the total yards or something that year, he got kicked out of Kansas City or something.
It just shows you that they don't mess around. Andy Reid does not mess around.
Unless you fight dogs.
Yeah. Kareem Hunt had 1,327 yards his rookie season, 824. This is just rushing.
Right.
824 his second season, and
He was hurt that
receiving.
year.
Well,
he had 824 yards receiving his rookie year also.
Right.
And he had 841 receiving yards in 2020 for Cleveland. So the dude still got it. And then he had 841 rushing yards in Cleveland that same year. So 800 receiving yards, 800 rushing yards in 2020 for Cleveland.
At backup.
As a backup.
Right. That's why only reason I had problems not putting Nick. I feel like Kareem Hunt's just as good, if not better than him. Yeah. I feel like Kareem Hunt just is not ever going to be a number one running back for a team. He's never going to get a fair shot with Chubb there to be the one running back.
Well, that's because Chubb's that good that he keeps.
Well, also he was already number one when he got there. I feel like it would be if the roles were reversed. If Hunt was already number one, I feel like Chubb probably wouldn't be number one either.
And Chubb is not a big receiving back either. When Kareem, I think Kareem is almost like an Alvin Kamara. He can kind of do it all.
Except he can run a lot better.
Yeah.
He might be more like a Gibson that's better.
Chubb's measurable. He's 5'11", 227. Kareem Hunt is 5'11", 216. So he's that tiny little – he's an Alvin Kamara type guy. Shifty. But Najee Harris, where did he go to school?
Alabama.
He's a Bama boy.
Man, how many Bama guys are on this list? Henry?
So far we got two.
Two. Well, Alvin Kamara, you said he transferred, right?
Yeah, so I guess you could say three.
Yeah. And where did Jonathan Taylor go to? Where did Jonathan Taylor go to college?
Wisconsin.
Knew that's red.
Cheesehead. And
hey, look, Wisconsin knows how to create running backs.
Yeah. All right. So we're sitting at similarities. We got Kamara, Cook, Taylor, and Chubb. We're sitting at 4. And I know what your two guys' number one running back is. So
yeah, because we're the only ones that make any sense here. I don't like who has Henry at 3?
I do, apparently.
There might not be 3 players in the NFL better than him.
Listen, I was going into thinking about this into 2022, thinking about what teams are going to do in 2022.
Shit, who's Tennessee going to throw to?
That's what I'm saying, and I think Henry is going to be relied on, and I think he might get hurt.
Man, that's all I'm saying. He's going to run for 2,000 yards, which he
probably will, man.
Last year.
So, can I just put your two guys as Derrick Henry? Do I need to go any further?
My number one running back is Christian. It's Derrick Henry.
It's Derrick Henry. Now,
there go that man.
Let me tell you something about Derrick Henry. Derrick Henry played 8 games last year. 8. And not even 8 full games because he got hurt in the 8th game. And ran for 937 yards. Right. He averaged more yards per game in his 8 games than Taylor did all season to lead the league in rushing. Had Henry kept up that pace, which having watched the Titans were able to run the ball without him, I know that he would have pushed 2,000 yards easily. He would have led the league in rushing. He had 10 touchdowns in 8 games. He probably would have hit 20. This is less than half the season. He would
have got MVP of the year, man. Like I think most people. Unfortunately, he had one of those Wentz years where, like, man, it's obvious Wentz was going to get MVP of that year. He got hurt. That's how I felt with Derrick Henry. It's obvious that dude would have got MVP of the year if he hadn't got hurt.
And I love that Derrick Henry is giving shine to running backs who are physical runners.
Would you pay him
Everybody wants to go to the shifty speed guys who can catch 50 balls out the backfield. That's great and all. But to see a pure running back, somebody who can take that stiff arm and throw Josh Norman into another universe.
We haven't seen that type of back in a long time.
It's been a while since we've seen that.
John Riggins style. You know what I mean? Like
Adrian Peterson.
Christian Okoye, even for that 1 year, what was the guy from Peyton Hillis? Like, you don't see that back anymore. But Derrick Henry does it better than all of them.
Worst cover athlete ever.
Terrible.
Do you know who Derrick Henry is who's a good comp for Derrick Henry if you want to talk about guys who were a lot faster than their running style leads you to believe? But
Earl Campbell.
Hold on, let me guess. You're trying to say who is old school Derrick Henry comp?
Earl Campbell.
That's one.
Bo Jackson.
I was going to say John Riggins.
I was going to say John Riggins.
Riggins
I said John Riggins earlier.
Here's the thing. Yeah, Riggins. Here's the thing people forget. Riggins was a track star.
Yeah.
He was fast. He just didn't run with a fast style.
Yeah.
He ran into people, over people. And Derrick Henry does the same thing. It's like he dares you to stop him. Yeah. He runs with violence.
And what are his measurables? Derrick Henry is 6'3", 247. My gosh.
Yeah, Gibson ain't that much smaller than him when he came out his rookie year. He lost weight.
Gibson 6'2", 220.
He was 6'30". He was 235 in college.
He was 220 coming out of college.
I thought it was 235 in college.
No, he was not 235. He was 220.
So, all right. Well, let me go on to my number one. My number one is Jonathan Taylor. And hear me out. Okay, just hear me out. Derrick Henry, while I think he's the most talented running back out of all of these people, for 2022, I don't know if it's going to happen because the Titans are going to be to me, it's the Malik Willis experience. You're going to see him come in. He's going to come out. Tannehill's going to be in. He's going to come out. They're going to be all over the place. And I think Derrick Henry is going to do one of two things. He's going to get a majority of the shares or he's going to get hurt. I don't know what's going to happen with Tennessee. Therefore, I couldn't put Derrick Henry as the number one running back for 2022 because I don't know what's going to happen. So I felt safer putting Jonathan Taylor. I think he's going to be tremendous this year. He's just going to build on what he did last year. So that's what I'm saying. Matt Ryan at the helm in Indianapolis, a standard quarterback, plug in, replacing Carson Wentz. It should be pretty simple. Their offense should flow pretty much the same. So that's why I think Jonathan Taylor might have a better year than Derrick Henry overall. So, I mean, is that crazy?
Here's the thing I'm going to take away from your argument. I know you had that argument. And I know your other argument is Derrick Henry has a bunch of miles on him, right? Because he's been in the league since 2016. But his first couple
years, he didn't play that much.
He played, but he was behind DeMarco Murray.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, there you go.
So his first 2 years are about the equivalent of one current season for him.
Yeah.
286 carries over 2 years. And, looks like you're about 1234. That's a hell of a season right there. So, yeah, I mean, I'm not doing that with Derrick Henry. Derrick Henry, I'm sorry. Until I see him break down over the course of multiple games, and I don't even count the playoff game because he was coming back from injury. That first game, and Tannehill shit the bed anyway. But until I see that breakdown from him, until I see him over the course of multiple games starting to slip, I can't take him off the top of that list.
That's fair. I can't argue.
Imagine that read option with the what's the old dude that got drafted in Tennessee, the quarterback?
Malik Willis.
Malik Willis and fucking Henry at read option. Oh my God. Like, what does the outside linebacker / defensive end do? Like, what do you want to? I would go after Henry every time.
Hey, you call me crazy. I almost feel like Malik Willis has more potential than Lamar Jackson. Is that wrong of me?
No, he doesn't because he can't throw like that. He can't. Lamar Jackson can throw it on a rope down. He can throw real far down the field, man. People don't think that. Lamar Jackson's also a lot bigger. Have you seen Lamar Jackson since the offseason?
No, he bulk up.
Oh my God! Like I'm saying, like he looks like a linebacker, bro. But like Lamar, the thing that people see Lamar Jackson, they think he's a small, he's gonna get hurt all the time, but he never really gets.
Not so much.
He never really gets hurt.
Since we can't go one Commanders pod without talking about Lamar Jackson for some reason.
Don't hate on Lamar Jackson.
Have you seen the picture? There was something going around the internet, like somebody was just zooming in on Lamar because apparently, like, to quote Eric Santos, or to paraphrase Eric Santos, former employee of the Washington football team, he has an ass like a wagon.
Oh, he's got them glutes.
Dude's got haunches.
I imagine he can squat like
somebody was like
500
pointing
pounds.
this out in a video, and I'm just like, why are we sharing videos?
Right, I don't know.
Looking at the size of Lamar Jackson's ass.
Well, let's recap our
What did
top
we
5
come
list,
to as a society?
and then we'll hit some honorable mentions. So Dev had Alvin Kamara at 5, Dalvin Cook at 4, Jonathan Allen at 3, Christian McCaffrey at 2, and Derrick Henry at 1. I had Alvin Kamara at 5, Dalvin Cook at 4, Derrick Henry at 3, Nick Chubb at 2, and Jonathan Taylor at 1. Phil, Dalvin Cook at 5, Nick Chubb at 4, Jonathan Taylor at 3, old Najee Harris from 2, Derrick Henry at 1.
I still can't believe we had Najee Harris over Taylor and Chubb, bro. Stop about that.
I think Harris is going to be the breakout this year.
We're going to see what happens with Kenny Pickett at the helm. They're going to have to rely heavily on Najee Harris.
It's going to be Trubisky anyways.
I'm sorry. You know what? Trubisky is good. Yeah, I don't think Pickett's going to be ready.
Which means they're still going to lean on Najee Harris.
Yeah, they're going to have to. They're going to have to. But leave us a comment in the chat, in the comments. Tell us what you think about this list. Who had the best list? Who had the worst list? What's your list for the top 5? And now, fellas, let's talk about some real quick honorable mentions before we close this out. So, Phil, let's start with you. Give me a couple honorable mentions for the top 5 running backs. It didn't quite make the list.
CMC is an honorable mention for sure. I didn't put him in here because he seems to be always injured. I also had what's old boy there? Kamara was an honorable mention. Joe Mixon was an honorable mention. And believe it or not, Antonio Gibson.
Ooh, okay, that's fair. I
started really breaking down the numbers. I was like,
I struggled with him.
He makes a case to be at least an honorable mention.
Which means he's within the top 10.
No, honorable mention people don't.
Realistically, it's hard. He makes a strong case to be a top 10.
Hey, honorable mention people don't fumble, bro. Fuck that shit. Gibson ain't top 5 nothing, bro. Top 5.
Honorable mention people do get
honorable mention
rushing and 42
top
catches.
5. If you're a top 5 rusher and you already got 2 other running backs on your team, they don't draft another dude in the 3rd round. In the same round they drafted you in. You know what I'm saying? Like
that's
I feel like he's about 2 fumbles away. 2 fumbles away from losing that job.
The fumble thing was what kind of took him off of there for me was the fact that Gibson is going to be looking at probably a reduced workloads. That's one of the reasons why I kept them off there. Now, if he still runs, 220, 230 times and gets 5 yards a carry because they're running him outside more, not trying to run him inside, and he's, not getting worn down, he can have a Nick Chubb kind of season if he still gets, 200, 220 carries, 5 yards a carry, you're over 1,000 yards.
That's true.
It's Nick Chubb was second in the league in rushing last year with 1,259 yards. He only had 228 carries.
Is 1,000 yards like to make you top 5 though? I think you get 1,000 yards. That don't make him top 5. I mean,
1,000 yards is kind of a benchmark for the conversation.
I don't know. We didn't know there was no Josh Jacobs on the list. What I thought was kind of interesting. There's another guy too. I can't think of the fucking. I just thought of his name.
Josh Jacobs kind of fell off at times though.
Aaron Jones, man.
Green Bay.
Like
the other one that I really kind of toyed with was Austin Eckler.
Eckler is another one. But it seems like he's always like good enough to be your starting running back, but it's like
Well, you got to remember they're a very pass-heavy team. They don't run that often, so
he's a great pass receiver.
Yeah, he is. He is more so than rusher. My honorable mentions, you guys said them all, but Joe Mixon, Christian McCaffrey, Josh Jacobs, Najee Harris, and Austin Eckler. Those are my honorable mentions I had written down for my list too. So I think we're all in the same ballpark, at least with this one, with honorable mentions and the actual people that made the list. So we had Derrick Henry, Jonathan Taylor, Dalvin Cook, Alvin Kamara, and Nick Chubb. So we had five similarities. So no one was right. I predicted 2. Phil predicted 4. Dev predicted 3. So we exceeded our expectations for the similarities of running back. So good job, fellas.
Yeah,
But
no,
yeah, this one was a little bit easier than the quarterbacks. I will say.
Man, we talking quarterbacks was easy. Just somebody had to pick somebody that didn't deserve to be in top 5.
It was, some people like Matthew Stafford more than others. Hey, it happens.
I mean, you're the one who put Christian McCaffrey number 2, and that dude hasn't played a full season in how long?
Neither has Cook.
But Cook still puts up stats because he's there enough.
Yeah.
McCaffrey puts up stats.
One supporting
when he's
Kirk
there,
Cousins, the other
but
one
he's-
supporting, I don't know who the Panthers quarterback is these days. Christian
Baker
McCaffrey,
Mayfield.
he needs to go to a new team. That's what
It's
he
gonna be.
needs.
It's gonna be us. Watch.
Yeah,
Traded
you-
McLaurin.
we
McLaurin.
love Panthers.
McLaurin.
The Commanders.
McLaurin.
We love our
Would you
former
trade
Panthers
McLaurin?
players.
Would you trade McLaurin for him?
Not without something else.
Yeah, I'm sorry. McLaurin's got a lot more of a future ahead of him than
Yep,
McCaffrey
he doesn't
does.
get injured. McCaffrey gets injured. You need something else to back that up.
I don't know, man. McCaffrey,
Pick-
when he's on, he's special, man. That's
He is,
only
but
one of those guys when he's on.
yeah, but he's
it's
always
like Kyrie. It's like Kyrie Irving.
he's got that ankle injury that just has never gone away. It's always an ankle. He had an ACL coming in, but it's just been an ankle ever since then. So
Said he had a brother that's going to be playing this year in college. Is better than him.
really,
There's another one. Yeah,
Yeah.
another McCaffrey is supposed to be better than all of them. I don't know what he plays. I'm gonna look that up. McCaffrey brothers.
well, isn't he related to Ed McCaffrey? The
Son, it's his
Giants-
son. That's his son.
It's
Is
the
his
son
son?
of Ed McCaffrey,
I thought so.
former Giants and Broncos receiver.
Broncos guy.
There
yeah.
you go.
The
That's right.
6'5" possession receiver.
Yeah, yeah. How common is that?
Back before white guys were all 5'9" slot receivers. You
Very
had
true.
Ed McCaffrey.
Who was the first one? Don Beebe? Was Don Beebe the first one to break that mold?
Don Beebe was an outside guy.
Was he?
Oh yeah. Well, they throw him over, but that K gun was nuts. But that K gun offense, they used to run BB outside, run BB on the slot. Andre Reed would play in the slot. James Lofton was in the slot. I can tell you, that Bills offense.
Position flex.
Well, you gotta think. You had James Lofton, Hall of Famer. You
Thurman
had
Thomas in the
Andre
backfield.
Reed, Thurman Thomas in the backfield, Hall of Famer. Jim Kelly at quarterback, Hall of Famer. You had so you had Lofton and Reed.
Well, you talk about the
Both Hall
defense.
of
The
Famers.
defense was amazing too.
Yeah.
Bruce
And we
Smith,
stomped
Mark
their ass in Super
Kelso.
Bowl 26. So that
my
tells you
gosh.
right there. 91
Yeah.
Redskins, greatest team of all
Yeah.
time. It all
36
comes
24.
back to
We
that.
still smacked
We
that
had-
ass.
We had Luke McCaffrey, by the way, at Louisville, man. And he stunk.
Luke
He transferred
McCaffrey?
out. Yes, there was a younger one, the quarterback. He transferred to Rice or somewhere, man. He was
Oh.
he came to Louisville, and then they thought everybody was like, man, he's gonna take Cunningham's job, and Cunningham balled the fuck out. Randall's boy.
Not
at
so
Louisville.
much.
Yeah, he killed. Randall's boy killed.
Oh man.
What is it with y'all just taking the sons of other players?
Yeah, why do
Right.
that? Why?
Mhm.
All right. Well,
I
hey,
guess now pedigrees are amazing compared to what they used to be.
we appreciate you listening. Thank you for tuning into our top 5. If you haven't already done so, please go like, subscribe, share, leave us a comment on YouTube, tell us how we're doing, and then give us your top 5 running backs for going into the 2022 season. So keep it kosher, keep it consistent.
I thought
2022 running backs.
I thought one of y'all was gonna put Lamar Jackson on y'all's list to fuck with me, dog. I thought that's gonna happen, Phil.
Nah,
I'm not Bill Polian.
we haven't done wide receivers yet, so there's still a chance. Right?
Now I'm going to put Matthew Stafford, number 4 wide receiver in the league.
Yeah,
Right.
there we go. Hey, we appreciate you guys.
You probably win a playoff game with receiver.
Burn. Hey, tune in the next time. We love you guys. We'll be rolling through the rest of the positions. Next up, wide receivers. As always, peace and hail.